tells you that things aren't happening now.
I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm coming. Sophia. I'm sorry about my camera. I'm trying to fix it now. How you doing, Sophia? Sorry to keep you waiting. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Sophia? Can you hear me, Sophia?
No, I don't think she can.
Can you? I'm trying to get my camera started. I don't know what's happening. It's talking about I got another device open, but I don't. Sophia, can you hear me? Maybe her mic is off. No?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn my camera on.
Okay, let me see. We can't hear you.
Hello? Hello, hello.
Okay, I can hear you now. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's weird.
Okay,
When I put
yeah.
on the earplugs, I can hear all of a sudden. It's crazy.
Okay, because she said she had when she came in to the live stream, she couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you.
Wow, that's not my
We could
fault
hear her.
because yeah, but I had everything set up. So I don't know. It got to be on your part because it shows that my mic is on my part.
Okay. Well, I could hear her, so maybe that's why she went out and she's coming back in because we heard her, but she couldn't hear you or something like that. So she's coming right back into the stream.
Okay, well, it's not my fault. I'm just saying that I got
No,
everything
it's
set
not
up.
your fault. No, it's not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's something on her end. Let me give me a second. Let me check on it.
All right.
Yes, and everyone, how you doing? I had to
Yeah,
switch
can you hear me?
laptops. Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you now.
okay. Okay,
How you doing,
great.
Sophia?
I'm doing excellent. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I had to change
That's,
laptops. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. It's somewhere I need to restart it.
yeah, well,
So I had
sometimes
to.
that happens. Honest mistake. It's really hot here in Vegas. We're like still burning up, and it's September. No, it's October. It's
Yeah,
going on
it's
Halloween, and it's getting cold other places, but not Vegas.
yeah, it's 78 right now in Miami, Florida.
Oh yeah, Florida's gonna always be hot, no matter what. That's
But it's
absolutely
not. But it's not as hot as Vegas, right?
no, not as hot as Vegas. Vegas is hotter than Florida. How's that? I know that blows your mind, but we're in a desert, and a
No,
desert
I
is always
believe
going
you.
to be hotter than regular land.
True. Because it's more
Just the
dry
way it
heat, right?
is. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
it. You don't know what you're going to get in the desert. It might be cold one night, and it might be just hot for several days, or raining, like profusively crazy rain. So you never know what you're going to get in a desert.
Right.
Can't grow anything, so you have to bring food in.
Okay.
Water drying up. So, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. No lakes and no rivers.
That's right. We have Lake Mead and Lake Powell, but they're drying up. Colorado River.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot the Colorado River runs into Vegas. I
Colorado
forgot that.
River's around.
So we have a few people on the panel that was waiting patiently until you came. Oh, until I
Sounds
got my act
excellent.
together too on my side. So you
That sounds
remember,
really good.
I don't know if you remember Kufu Heru, he was telling you about when he was 14, how they stole his beats and things like that, his music.
Sounds familiar. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
he was raised in Los Angeles.
And what did he do about it? Did he sue them for the money, for the damages?
Well, since he was only 14, he said that his parents, I guess they didn't take the legal route the right way. So they just walked off with his, he was managing under Brandy and her brother management.
Oh, wow.
Remember Brandy and Ray J?
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with them. In fact, I saw Ray J at one of the BET events where there were 300 celebrities and we were all backstage interviewing with media. So that's my first time encountering him. But I've never seen, I don't think, Brandy in person. But Ray J, yes.
The brother.
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah, so yeah, he's on the panel now. Yeah, Kufu, I was reminding Sophia about the situation. I was reminding Sophia.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Great. I'm doing excellent. Thank you.
That's good. Excellent. It's good seeing you again.
Yeah, you too. I won 8 years ago in 2014, September the 25th. And I guess people don't know that. That's almost 9 years. Next year will be 9 years that I've won the damages on my case. They can't own the Matrix and Terminator because I've copyrighted the movies, which are derivatives, and it came from my copyrighted book and script, copyrighted script. Mm-hmm. So it's just like Lil Nas X, what he did to Nike. All he did was counterfeited Nike. Nike was already copyrighted and trademarked, and so was my work. And Lil Nas X and Mischief Company and executives just took Nike and counterfeited it and sold 666,000 copies. And Nike came after him for the money, for the damages in courts. And that's what you have to do. Go after them for the damages because they can't steal your work if it's copywritten. They can't get away with that. All of that can be traced back to the owner. I don't know if people know that, but any copyrighted work that someone takes and make money off of it can be traced back to the owner and they can never own it. And you can get a copyright to the derivative work. And if you can show that you created this work when you were 14 and the computer was out and it was on the computer, well, then you can copyright whatever they stole and take it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you know that or not, but if you put it on the internet or you got a copyright for the work, it can be traced right back. The derivative work is a secondary work that can be traced to the primary work, and you can actually get a copyright and start selling it and doing whatever you want with it. I show a lot of people to do that. I showed the guy with the Black Panther movie. I showed the guy with Avatar. That's why you're going to see nothing but old rehash garbage because they cannot carry it on. Can't carry on somebody else's work. You can't eclipse anybody's work. You guys saw that with Matrix regurgitation, resurrection, resurgitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Resurrection.
Yeah, resurrection was regurgitation. It was nothing but a documentary with John Wick and Tiffany with a husband and two kids. And a naked man, some naked man, and some old general that was not Naomi, not Jada Pickett's role. The Matrix characters and graphics were not used. John Wick, that was John Wick. That was not Neo. Neo does not look like that, and you guys know that. He looked like the movie poster that you're looking at right now that I created for the Matrix 4.
Right.
They Warner Brothers them offered me $30 million for the shooting script. The shooting script, not the copyrights. The copyrights are worth $4 to $7 billion, Matrix and Terminator copyrights. And they have 2 to 3 billion fans globally that loves the work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that or not.
No.
No,
yeah,
no,
not to that
high number.
Not to that degree. Yeah, not to that extent.
Well, Matrix made up to $35 billion. I know because I won the court case 8 years ago, and it's all in the court docs. I had 3 CPAs, certified public accountant, to tally up the damages on how much money I was owed. And you have to show that in court, the damages, and that's what you go after is the money. You don't go after ownership because you got the copyrights. My copyrights are 81, 83, and 84. February the 6th, 84 is my last copyright. Before I copyrighted all the derivative movies, I own all of them. So I wrote this work in the 80s while I was at USC. And I'm an attorney. I copyrighted the work at that time. So it was a copyrighted script and a copyrighted book that was adapted to the screen. You guys are familiar with Lords of the Ring book, Lords of the Ring movie, the Maze book, the Maze movie,
Yes.
the Maze book, the Maze movie, the Gravity book, the Gravity movie, John Grisham, the Pelican Brief book, the Pelican Brief movie, John Grisham, the Firm book, the Firm movie. So every great work has a book. Cloud Atlas, David Mitchell's work, the movie, V for Vendetta, the English writer Alan Moore's work, the book, the movie. So I don't know how familiar people are, but if you don't read the book, and the movies are only like a little fraction of the book, a movie is only 1 hour and 36 minutes, no more than 2 hours and 10 or 20 minutes filming out of a book or a script. So if you don't read the book, you won't get the details. Plus, my work won 4 Oscars, and they don't talk about it, but the 1999 Matrix won 4 Oscars, and those Oscars belonged to me because the work was stolen. They had no permission to counterfeit my work. And it's counterfeiting a copyright. If somebody steals some work and they make a replicate or they put the work out, it's a derivative and it's called counterfeiting. That's what they did with Nike. Everybody knows Nike is a brand. Everybody knows Nike's been out for years. And that Nike belongs to the billion-dollar selling public company Nike. So Lil Nas X and the Mischief Company and executives, they already knew they were thieves. Now, the government should arrest them for counterfeiting because Nike had the copyrights. And Nike going after the damages is a civil case. But the criminal case needs to be prosecuted by the government. Just like my case, the criminal case needs to be prosecuted by the government because they failed to protect Nike's copyrights and trademarks, and they failed to protect my copyrights and trademarks.
Exactly.
So and if Haru had a copyright when he was 14, or he had it already on the internet at 14, he automatically had a copyright. And if they took his work at that time, the music, then they counterfeited it. It's 2 cases, a civil case for the damages, the money they made off of it. And then the other case is a criminal case where the government should prosecute them. We pay for protection. That's why we get the copyrights. We get the copyrights from the government. We get the trademark from the government. We pay a lot of money. And this is supposed to keep our work from being counterfeited. This is when the government goes after anybody that counterfeits Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, Samsung, and, of course, Nike. And my work, The Matrix and Terminator. Counterfeited.
That's a big business, huh? Counterfeiting people's stuff.
Counterfeiting is a super business. And that's what it's called. When you have a copyright or a trademark and copyright, and someone comes and adapt your work to the screen, it is a criminal case and it is counterfeiting. It's called a knockoff, like they did with Gucci, like they did with Nike. Look, Nike's brand was right there in your face. But that didn't stop Lil Nas X, that didn't stop the company Mischief, and it didn't stop the executives. In fact, they put it in public and sold 666,000 copies and put blood in the shoe and put some demonic stuff on the shoe and sold it.
Yeah, and people bought it up like hotcakes too.
And those people need to go to jail that bought the counterfeited goods because you're buying stolen goods.
Yeah, that's receiving stolen property, ain't it?
That's right. That is receiving stolen property.
Wow.
Right now, if you go and you get a counterfeit Versace and buy it, and some cop is around or some agent, they can arrest you. You're buying stolen goods.
Yeah.
That
I
is a
didn't look
criminal
at it like
offense.
that.
Well, you should. It's racketeering. It's RICO. RICO is racketeering.
So
It's
did
what the
Nike
mob
get
went
all
to
their
do.
money back?
I don't know, because Nike is a $1 billion company with lawyers that should be some Harvard lawyers, and then the Harvard lawyers are the best lawyers in the world. It should be some kind of good lawyers in there to tell the public. Nike is a public trading company. If you got stock in Nike, then all of you can bitch and whine and tell the government they need to put Lil Nas X and Mischief and executives in jail for counterfeiting. They knocked off Nike. They did a knockoff Nike. That Nike they sold is not a real Nike. If Nike is not processed by Nike, or Apple is not processed by Apple, or Matrix and Terminator is not processed by Sophia Stewart,
That's right.
they are a counterfeit, because I created those graphics you saw, the logos, the characters, the special effects, I'll be back, the dialogue, the red and blue peel. You see what I'm talking about? Wearing black at all time. All of that was created, the concept created by myself. And anytime anybody tries to apply for a copyright or trademark to Matrix and Terminator, it is under the penalty of perjury. If you apply for anything from the government can prosecute you under the penalty of perjury. It's a badass law. And the government, when you go to the motor vehicle and you get in your driving license, and if you put your brother's birth certificate in there, you're swearing under oath that this is you, this is your birth certificate, this is your information that you own. You get into a car accident and they find out that you lied, well, they're going to arrest you under the penalty of perjury because you swore under oath. And it tells you that if you lie under oath, you're committing fraud and perjury. And whatever you think you got, you didn't get. It's automatically inoperative, invalidated. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they threw all of that together like that. Like they, that's just
Well, if they got a copyright for the, you need to check. They stole your stuff. If they applied for a copyright or a trademark on your work under the music publishing, they can be tried under the penalty of perjury for fraud and perjury. And they don't have any protection. They don't have whatever they applied for, they do not have. Under the penalty of perjury, you can pull up under the penalty of perjury that anything you may think you got is automatically inoperative, invalidated the moment you lie under oath to get it. I'm here to teach the laws. Go ahead.
I need to do some research on that because there has to be some type of paper trail. This is when I was 14. So my parents had the legal, documentation.
What year was that when you were 14, sweetie? What year was that?
Let's see. I had to be 14 and...
Well, how old are you now?
I'm 44.
Oh, okay.
I just turned 44 September 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about, it was something. It was a little, something like that.
Yeah,
about 30 something years.
Yeah.
So,
okay, go on.
This was kind of before the internet and digital stuff and email and all that. It was more like contract, physical contract.
Right. But did you ever put it on the internet? Did you ever put the work on the internet?
Well, I didn't do it personally, but there is some work. There is some stuff I can find that is on the internet, like a video on YouTube or
whatever. What did they get from you? What was the name of the product that they got from you?
I was the keyboard player. I played a few keyboards. I did a few things on a few albums, right? But I don't know what particular album they chose to put the song on. See what I mean? I didn't know that. You can look
up the song separately. You can go and you can research it and look it up and see if they got a copyright on it. Because if they do, it's automatically invalidated, inoperative. They don't, and you can turn around and copyright it with your name and take it and start selling it. It's not a damn thing they can do about it. And the government will issue you the copyright because they'll trace it to your work, because you can send your work in there and show that it is your work.
I didn't know that.
You know, no lawyers are going to tell you the stuff I teach people. I teach people.
Yeah, I never. I wouldn't have even thought of that. Like, I didn't even know that. But
oh yeah, well,
I have to talk to my parents and see, you know, what. I remember them signing things.
That could. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see.
I don't think they have anything that could trace them.
That's what I'm gonna ask my mom. I'm gonna ask her, do she have anything, like any type of contract or anything? Because I think I could remember her. I don't think she threw any of that stuff away. You know what I mean? She don't throw stuff like that away. So I would have to.
Has it.
Yeah, I would have to go really sit down and talk to her and dig through some crates, basically. You know what I mean? But I'm sure that was like something that was memorable. So I would think she would save that. I don't think she's do anything, because she would tell me. She would be like, "Do you want me to throw this stuff away from so and so?" You know what I mean? She would let me know if she would before she do it first.
Asked. Right, she never asked.
No, she's never said anything, and I never even thought about it until like recently. So I'm gonna talk to her, and I'll be going out there to visit them at the end of this month. So I'll probably go just dig through the crates myself too, and ask her and ask her where things are at and see if I can come up with some paperwork. Because like I said, I was 14, so they did all the paperwork. I was a kid, so they would definitely know. So towards the ending of this month, I'm gonna go visit them, and I'm going to definitely get to the bottom of that, because I did play the keyboard and guitar on at least 4 tracks that I know that actually came out and was out there on the radio and all that. I just don't remember, or I just don't know what album I don't know where they, I know I worked on those songs, but I don't know really what they did with them.
Listen, all you got to do is some research. Everything will be fine. Just do your research, and then I can advise you from then on. Okay? No problem.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Some research. That's all. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but as I was telling people and educating people, no one can really steal from you. They can steal your money, but they cannot steal your intellectual property. And people need to get off of that, talking about people stealing your ideas, because the idea is nothing but a thought, and nobody can steal the thought out of your mind. When we get copyrights and we get trademark, it's for intellectual property. No, I mean, you can laugh because it sounds ridiculous when somebody said, "Oh yeah, I heard they stole your idea." Nobody steals anybody's idea. You can't. That's a thought. It's just an invisible
like you took
thought.
A piece of my brain.
Yeah, you stole some of my brain. Okay, no. People need to stop mimicking these programs. Unplug yourself. When people adapt your book or your copyrighted book or copyrighted script or copyrighted music or short story or whatever, these are physical properties that are called intellectual properties, IPs. And they cannot take these IPs. All they can do is make money off of these IPs, because the deed to the house is in your name. The DeLorean in the driveway that they stole and made $1 million off the DeLorean is in your name. You own the DeLorean. So you're not going to go to court to get your DeLorean back, because it already belongs to you. It's in your name. You're not going to get the TV back because unless they're keeping it, because you have the receipt to it. Do you see? But the damages, they made money off of your house. They made money off of your DeLorean. They used your TV, pain and suffering and damages. So we go to court, we go and sue for money damages. Okay, people out there that's confused, because there's a lot of people confused. That's why they never go to court. That's why these people keep stealing. They're like sheepish, and they keep on mimicking the same thing. If one of them start crying, all thousands and millions and billions of them start crying. And that's what happens with sheep. And one sheep started crying, all of them. And then everybody said, why are all of them crying? And the man would say, I don't know. That's just the way they are. They mimic. So stop mimicking.
What about a situation if someone wrote a business plan for someone, took the business plan and used it for themselves and cut the other person out?
Well, that's the same way. You can sue for the damages. If they cut you out and they made $50,000, that's profits. You can sue for the $50,000, and you can show that you had already created this business plan because other people that you did business with saw this business plan and knew the business plan already. You had proof. So you can go and take the money from these people. Whoever, what I'm talking about, put a lien on them and show through the courts that they owe you $50,000. Yes. Get some CPAs to certify, that they owed you the money, and then lien them up and take the property. That's what the bank does. It liens you up. You can't pay for the house. It put a lien on the house. Okay?
Right.
You owe them some money. They put a lien on there. You go in, you bring your Ferrari in to the dealership. You get $3,000 worth of stuff fixed on the car, and you can't pay the $3,000. They can take the Ferrari for you and sell it at $3,000, or they can keep it. They'll put a lien on it and put the lien into the courts, showing the courts that that Ferrari is theirs now. That you owe money on it, you owe them, and you can't pay it, so they own your property. That's how it works. Not no UCC commercial codes and liens. Some man was talking to me the other day, and he was confused as hell. He was thinking about the UCC commercial codes and liens and all of that buffoonery stuff that people be selling people information, sovereignty, and you got a birth certificate and a straw man and blah, blah, blah. That is garbage. Throw that garbage in the garbage. The people who are selling you that information don't go out and use it themselves because they know they're going to go to jail, or they're going to put some massive tax fines on them. And when I talk about liens, I'm talking about real liens that you know about, that when you go buy a car and you borrow money from the bank and you can't pay the bank the money, they have liens on the car till you pay it. They release the liens.
Yes.
So, and I was talking to this man, and he was talking about the UCC. And I said, man, what is wrong with you? And he's asking me about liens. No, as God is my witness. I said, you're familiar with liens. Did you buy a car? He said, yeah. Is it paid for? No. It's got a lien on it. It shows the lien holder is the bank. The owner is the lien holder of the bank. And he said, yes. So I said, well, what the hell you don't understand about liens? That's how liens work. He's talking in his mind about the UCC sovereignty stuff. The Wizard of Oz.
Because somebody told him that he can file under UCC sovereign, Sophia, and he can get his car back.
I don't know what he can get back.
Because a lot of that is going around nowadays.
All they're going to do is lie to you and get you into some trouble. It's just like this. Somebody give you some information and you go whack in the wasp nest. You hear what I said? You take a 2x4 and you go in there and you start whacking a wasp nest or a bee's nest. They're going to sting the hell out of your ass. And if you go and find out what the wasp's weakness is, that I can smoke them out, then you can get rid of them with the smoke and then go and tear down the nest, and then they have to go find them another place. But this is what happens when people are naive and they want shortcuts. They'll pay and believe anything for a shortcut. Here I am showing them real law, real liens that anybody can win, like David and Goliath. And they're sit up there still having doubts and asking me if I'm the owner, calling me a tagline, the mother of the matrix. I say, hell, I'm not a tagline. I'm a creator and owner. Sophia Stewart. You don't call the late Steve Jobs the father of Apple. You don't call Bill Gates the father of Microsoft. You call him the founder and the owner. That is the same thing you need to acknowledge me about. And let's cut the buffoonery. Now, I don't know what it is with people in buffoonery, but I'm kind of like a little tired of buffoonery because I teach. I teach law. I teach contracts. You see what I'm talking about? I teach a lot of stuff so people can unplug in the matrix and come out of this ignorance and backwardness. Then they're using madam. I say, my name is not madam. My name is Sophia. Use my name so God can hear my name in vibrations. Then they'll say Miss, M-I-S-S. I said, I'm not a miss. I've been married 3 times and I have 2 kids. A miss is a single woman like Oprah, who's never had no marriages, never had no children. That is what a miss, M-I-S-S, a single woman who's never been married, who has never had any kids. You can call her Miss Oprah. Then they'll say, well, I was just trying to give some respect. Well, how are you giving respect if it's wrong? If something is wrong, how is it respectful? That's a disrespect. Now, come on. Well, we learned this in the South. No, you learned that from your slave masters. That's where you learned it from. And throw that slave stuff out of the windows. Am I right on this or not? Come on, people.
Right.
Yes, I feel you. You're right.
It's for slaves. Right. People, the slave masters don't use those terminologies. They're teaching people to be slaves, to use those terminologies to lower your vibrations and to lower other people's vibrations. I'm bringing all this up because how can you live in 2020 and still using slave terminologies and not know that you're using slave terminology? How can you live in 2020 and not know that Ms. MS is a divorced woman? You see what I'm talking about? And Mrs. is a married woman, MRS, and Miss is a single woman. If you're going to use something.
Yeah, that, see, I'm going to be honest, that I didn't really know. I mean, I heard the difference, but I didn't really like put 2 and 2 together. The Mrs., the Ms., and the, you know, and how you spell it's really the same word, but just used in.
Yeah, go ahead. It's different pronunciations actually, because Miss is like a singularity, like a single woman, never been married, never had no kids, and she looking for the first time to be a single woman looking for a man to marry. You know, she's having a coming out. She's having a coming out, and when you use the title Miss, M-I-S-S, that let people know she's single, she's never been married, never had no kids, and she's looking to get married, looking to have some kids. So when you use this on a married woman or a divorced woman, it sounds idiotic. Now look, Oprah has never been married, never had no kids. She's still on the market. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so when someone says, excuse me, miss, like if a man is trying to talk to a woman and he says, excuse me, miss, he's assuming that she's single and ready to mingle, basically.
That is correct. And if she says, I'm not a miss, I'm a Ms., that means I'm divorced, been married or had kids and been married and divorced. Or she said, I'm a Mrs., that means she's married right here, right now. Do you see what I'm talking about? And Ms.
So
is
MZ,
using that, MS.
Okay.
Not MZ, MS. But sometimes ebonically people use the Z as an S. So I understand why you use it that way, okay? I'm going to break it down for people out here. People who needs help, I'm going to break all this down.
I saw it spelled that way, you know. I saw it spelled that way, so I was just wondering what was the proper...
I knew you saw it spelled that way, and that's why I told you it's the Ebonic spelling. Ebonic.
Yeah, because I was going to say, where you saw MZ at?
Well, he saw it from some Ebonic spellers.
I did.
There's a lot of Ebonic people out here that still use like all eyes on me, all eyes like
with
Tupac,
Z,
E-Y,
instead of S.
Z instead of an S. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm teaching, so you guys ask questions if you need to know something, and I can break it down.
Sophia?
Yeah, the oracle is me in the movie. The oracle. Go ahead. What about the oracle?
No, remember the oracle brother I introduced you to from South Africa? when
Oh
we had
yes,
the
I
private
remember speaking
discussion.
to him. Yes, I remember.
He's
What
on the
about him?
panel. He's on the panel now.
Okay,
He's on the
great. All
panel
right.
now.
How you doing? You have any
Him
questions?
and,
Greetings, greetings.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm okay, and how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Do you have any questions?
No, not really, not really. I'm just listening in for now.
Yeah, well, that's great. I like to uh, clear up a lot of misconceptions that people have. There's 7 billion people on Earth here now. That's a lot of people, and we never had 7 billion people on Earth at one time ever. So it's incredible, and I think it's driving a lot of people crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But why would they go
So,
crazy?
well, a lot of people are talking about
the
with the COVID,
population.
population crowding, population growth, not enough water, not enough food. The usual lies, the usual suspects.
Yeah, because how could it be not enough water when the Earth is 90,
Three
almost
fourths, yeah,
99% water?
that's right. 3/4 of the earth. Let's put it like that. Three
Yeah.
fourths of the earth is water. I'm gonna have to switch something out real quick so my battery won't go up. It's turning red. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just gotta switch it and hope that you
Okay.
guys can hear me. Can you guys hear anything?
If you have any, yeah, we hear you speaking now. If you have
Wait a
anything you
minute.
want to say, Shepsu, feel
Um,
free.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay.
It's a
Hold
pleasure to
on.
meet you, Sophia.
Yeah, hold on a moment. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
because I have to put it on my charger. Wait a minute. That seems to be the pearls of when you're doing this stuff nowadays. Hold up. So it won't run out of juice. Okay,
Okay.
I got it now. Can you guys hear me excellently?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm gonna set up again, and then you guys are gonna. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, great. Let's carry on. I got it charging now. So let's continue. Like I was telling you guys, that's how it works.
I have a more of a genetic question. I don't know. I could have swore the last time we had a conversation, you kind of mentioned something about some rhesus monkey blood or something like that, and
Oh, yeah, I
um,
would love to discuss that with people, because a lot of people are very confused. But the Bible actually tell you that you're not these skin covers and you're not these bodies. You're actually the blood. Are you people aware of that? That you're actually not these bodies. The bodies are like transportation,
Yes.
that God's children are actually three-dimensional beings. That's what the Matrix is telling you. The astral body, which is blood, water, and spirit. The physical body, which takes 9 months or 36 weeks to develop in the womb or the woman's stargate or portal called the Matrix, the womb. Matrix is a 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb. It comes from the King James's Bible, mentioned 5 times in the King James's Bible, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Were you guys aware of that?
No.
now
That's
I was aware of hearing of it one time, but not that many times.
Yeah. A difference between a man and a woman is not the vagina and the penis. It is the womb. A woman has a stargate, a portal to bring babies into this earthly dimension. She has a feeding tube called the umbilical cord. She has breast milk. She has estrogen flowing through her body. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Yes, she has estrogen flowing through her body. Hold one moment, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. She has estrogen flowing through her body and is manufactured. She also have breast milk, and there is no Dr. Frankenstein that is ever going to give a man any of these. So the doctor is nothing but a liar. There will never be any man that will be a woman or any woman that will be a man. There is no Dr. Frankenstein that can give any woman a penis. A penis with seeds. That is the male. So there's no Dr. Frankenstein that's ever going to make that happen. It's never going to turn a woman into a man or a man into a woman.
Although they can create the illusion, right?
Me?
Not to cut you off, I was just agreeing with you. I was saying, although they can create the illusion of this being that's not really what it is. It's still, you know.
It is just a great deception. That's all it is. The greatest deception. And anybody to carry out the deception is just a liar. I'm sorry, but the truth is the truth, and the truth hurts.
Yeah.
Well, anybody can research this. And if you go back and you look at the movie Dr. Frankenstein, if you remember the movie Dr. Frankenstein, the Dr. Frankenstein created the monster, but he had no penis. So he was jealous of the men and women and children, and he killed them. And he was lonely.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that's why Frankenstein running around killing people, because he didn't have no, he didn't know what he was. He didn't have a.
He had no penis. Listen to me very carefully. You go back.
And he killed his creator,
Mary Shelley. Listen to me carefully. You go back and you look at the visionary Mary Shelley. When you read her book Frankenstein, she is talking about organ transplants. That's where organ transplants come from, because the doctor is paying these men that when people die, as long as the body is warm, they bring the body and he take out their organs. He's taking out their hearts, their lungs, their livers, their kidneys, and he's putting them in Frankenstein. He even have a brain in a vat, because the brain can live in a vat with liquid for, a long time. So Frankenstein has a brain transplant. He has a heart, a liver, and the doctor is getting all these transplants of organ transplants from all these warm cadavers. That's why he's paying the grave diggers and the grave people to bring the cadavers to him. Now, Frankenstein, he takes him up, on a platform when it's electrical storm going on. He has these, what you call in his neck, these electrical, it's just like a flibitator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they look like screws.
They are in his neck. And when he goes up into the storm hits these electrical metal rods in his neck, and it animates the body. It brings the heart to pumping. It brings the body alive. Go back in your mind and look at the movie.
Yeah, he changed Frankenstein up, right? Changed him up.
Lifts him. She's right.
Yeah. He has Igor, right? Mm-hmm. Frankenstein had an Igor. He had Igor, the hunchback dude, right? That was like his servant, right? And that is talking about the vampires. Let's not bring up the vampires.
She's talking about Mary Shelley.
I'm talking about Mary Shelley and Dr. Frankenstein, the Frankenstein movie.
And so Igor wasn't. Well, maybe I'm getting a movie mixed up, but I
You're
thought
getting them
Igor was a
mixed up. You're
servant.
bringing the vampires in now. Forget about the vampires. We're
You're
not
talking about a vampire
mucus
movie.
right now. Vampires and mucus is when you're talking about COVID, when you're talking about cancer, when you're talking about STDs and flus and monkeypox and all those. That's mucus. We're not talking about mucus tonight. We're talking about the Matrix. We're talking about Frankenstein. We're talking about Frankenstein not getting a penis transplant because there's no Dr. Frankenstein that can give any man a penis. Once your penis is cut off or it's missing, you will never have another one. Okay? Are we clear on that one?
We're clear.
Okay, now let's go on with the Frankenstein lessons. What Mary Shelley, the visionary, was showing was that Dr. Frankenstein movie was talking about organ transplant. That's how he created Frankenstein, through organ stealing other people's organs, the cadavers, and creating this monster and bringing it alive through the storm, electrical storm. But he's lonely. He wants a woman. So he asked the doctor to create a woman for him. And the doctor creates a woman for him. And then, of course, the woman wanted the doctor because he had a penis. And so Frankenstein, the monster, got mad and killed the doctor. Okay? Go back and look
And his
at
wife.
the movie. Do you remember the movie?
He killed the wife too.
Hon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you
I
remember what I'm talking
He
about?
he killed the wife. Yes, he killed the wife, and Frankenstein. Well, he tried to bring the wife, not Frankenstein, but the doctor tried to bring his wife back to life, and the wife realized that he made her a Frankenstein too, and she killed herself because Frankenstein killed his wife first.
That's the wrong Frankenstein movie. That's just, now listen to me.
See, that's why I'm
is,
mixed up.
Like
It's some different versions. That's
mother-
why. Yes.
where
Yeah, it's
taken
different
away from the
versions.
real house. You're
But
confused.
you're talking
Go
about the
back and
original
look at-
one.
Mary Shelley wrote the book. Google the book because there's been many movies on Frankenstein monsters.
Yeah.
That's where the sitcom Frankenstein came from, that you see on TV, and the sitcom is still running, and they made a comedy out of it. Herman the monster, and then
Addams Family.
his father the vampire, and his wife Lily the vamp. Forget about that. Go back and Google Mary Shelley, the writer, and her book Frankenstein. Google it. Mary Shelley, Shelley, Frankenstein. Now, there was a lot of movies made into the Frankenstein and try to make buffoonery out of it or change it where you don't know what's going on. So you won't understand what I'm telling you.
Yeah, so which one are you talking about, Mary Shelley? The one in 1994 or the one in 2017? I saw the one in 2017.
Go back to the 70s. Go back.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the original.
Yeah,
black
go back
and white,
to
right.
the color ones from the 70s.
Yeah, the one from the book.
Ones from the 70s.
Yeah, because they made that
I
after the
see
book.
it. I was talking about the one. About the one in 2017.
That's why I was a little mixed up too, because I was looking at the more recent Frankensteins that Hollywood got a hand of and screwed up. You know what I mean? Messed up the storyline and all that.
Garbage. That's nothing but garbage. You're not gonna get the truth out of it. You got to go back to the old movies. All the old movies and the old books have the truth in it. That's why the collectors get them, and that's why you never get them and never see them, because certain books and movies, they're changing and programming you to think other bullshit. That's why the collectors want the oldest books. They want the oldest movies because you're going to get the spark of truth out of it.
They always want the original. Yeah.
Yes, you got to go back.
Her full name is Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Yeah, Mary Shelley came out with the book Frank, and she's a visionary. She was talking about organ transplants. She was talking about organ transplants because that's what Dr. Frankenstein was doing. He would pay the grave diggers to bring warm cadavers to him, warm cadaver means a body. People just died
Mhm.
because they didn't have embalming like they did with the ancient Egyptians. They were not doing the embalming till later on in our area, in our time period. But that came from all the way from the ancient Egyptians embalming. But back in the day, they would not embalm the corpse. They would just bury them. And so Mary
Mhm.
Shelley was showing that as long as it's warm, the doctor would take its organs and he would preserve the organs and he would put them in the transplant, and he created the Frankenstein monster. And the Frankenstein monster was named after Dr. Frankenstein because that was the doctor's
Right.
name. That's why the monster was called Frankenstein.
So it's I find it weird that well, not weird, and it's not obvious. I remember growing up off of Frankenstein. I do remember the original black and white um movie, and and that one, and I do remember that movie was the one that was closest to the book. It was the closest to what the book was saying. And
Yes, if you get the old black and white ones are excellent because the older the film, the more information and knowledge you're going to get out of it. So yes, you would have to go back to the black and white ones because you will find a lot of news, a lot of information just looking at the old black and white ones, looking at the 60s, the 70 color ones. But when you try to look at stuff in our time period, it's just garbage and confusion and ignorance, and just got you all
Mhm.
over the place and don't know what you're talking about, don't know what you're looking at. Does that make
yeah, and they
sense?
would
And they
that makes perfect sense.
yeah, because it
And
says that it also says, go ahead.
oh, I was going to just say now in today's age as well, people are kind of like, there are some Frankensteins out there because they are doing all these weird transplants on people, and trying to transplant people's head. You heard about that head transplant? They trying to
No, I
transplant this
haven't
some
heard about
guys.
their head transplant, but they have movies where they have done it. They got some
Yeah, it's a
old
guy.
color and old black and white movies where they transplant another head on the same body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a guy with a,
Mm-mm.
he got whatever disease that scientist had. The what was his name? He died not too long ago. That he was like confined to a wheelchair. He was really smart though. What was it? The white guy's
Well,
name?
you
He was a
know,
scientist.
when you are using somebody else's blood and you're using somebody else's DNA, which is the blood, then you're going to come out with some really stuff. You're going to get, if the person was a hemophiliac, a bleeder, then you're going to get that. That's why taking blood from
Yeah.
just anybody is kind of a bad idea. You want to preserve your own blood. If you're going to
Mhm.
do an operation, you want to preserve your own blood. You don't want to take other people's bloods because their blood have a lot of stuff in it that
That's
you're
not
going to
yours.
inherit
Yeah.
if you take blood transfusion from other people.
Do you
You're
think
going
that
to
has a?
take on
Even
whatever
asthma
they got.
transfusion.
Do you think you can take on some of this like
What
spiritual
happened?
energy, like some of their this since blood is if blood is life? Do you think when you get a blood transfer, does that affect you spiritually, like on a spiritual level
Of course,
when
that's
you
why
take?
God was telling you not to. Yeah, that's why God was telling you not to eat of the blood. Don't eat the blood. A vampire eats blood. You don't supposed to eat of the blood. You're not supposed to
Right.
drink other people's blood. Even if you drink a cow's blood
Mhm.
or you drink an animal's sheep. That's why they want food cooked well done, and they don't want you eating that blood. And these people who are eating half raw food, they're
Yeah,
taking
raw
on the
steak.
blood of
Yeah.
they're taking on the diseases of that cow or whoever blood they're
Mhm.
eating. That if it's a pig and the blood is still running from the pig, or the blood is still running from the animal, well,
Exactly.
you're taking on the traits and the diseases of what the animal has. That's why, and the Bible it says your food should be cooked well done or well enough where you don't eat any blood. You're taking
Yeah.
on the
Wow.
traits and the diseases of animals because you're eating their bloods. You're not supposed to eat blood or drink blood. What is wrong with people? It tells you that in the Bible. It tells you in the medical book. So
Yeah, what spiritual group is that won't accept blood transfusions?
Jehovah
Seventh Day
Witness.
Adventist, I think, or
Oh,
Jehovah
Jehovah
Okay.
Witness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't accept blood transfusions. I was always wondered why, but now I know. Now I know.
they don't like that. They're trying to get rid of you. They don't like hearing the truth. Y'all,
So you
y'all
know
laughing,
what?
but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. It happened the
The
last time.
truth can be very
Remember when you was talking about the
disturbing.
monkey blood?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah, and
want
the
to hear. The
monkey
Reese's
hearts.
monkey blood. The Reese's monkey blood. That was where what my question. I was gearing because they say that it is said that everybody on this planet, different species of humans, are mixed with different things
Well,
other
they
than
are.
just
There are people mixed with monkeys, and you can actually do. It's the negative blood. The negative blood is the rhesus monkey blood, and you can actually do blood transfusions with the monkey and the apes. And there are people who are mixed with swine, the pigs, swine, and they can take the swine veil in them, in their bodies. But the swine veil will kill other people who are not mixed with that bloodline. There are people mixed with dogs. When you go into Genesis, which is genes, there's no such thing as Genesis. It's an anagram for its genes. Genesis. Turn it around. It's Isgenes. It's genes. And it says about Cain, chaos, was mixed with the mark of the beast. His dad. He had the beast blood in him. And that's why he killed Abel. And this is what all this fornication is about, and having sex with multiple partners. That's what dogs and animals do. Animals have sex with
Mhm.
multiple partners. Um, they are territorial, fighting over turf. God's children have no reason to fight over turf. The land, there's nothing but land. There's nothing but water. There's nothing but food in abundance, and it is in a continuation. But animals, they fight over food. They steal. They want to have sex with multiple partners. There are no marriage in mind, because there's no marriage with animals. And there's people who have monkey blood, and there's people who have dog blood, marked with dogs. And they're like in Brazil, you can read it. There are males that have sex with donkeys, and they rather have sex with a donkey than a
Mhm.
woman. And this is where the mythology and the bestiality,
Yes.
it goes all the way up to ancient Egypt. Anubis, there's a jackal-headed man, Anubis. And there in the mythology, there's a miniature, the bull-headed man, and there's the horse with wings, Pegasus, and there's the horse with a horn in the center of his head. You know, do you see what I'm talking about?
Unicorn.
yeah. Uh,
These mixtures of animals and beasts, and Eve having sex with the reptilian, a snake. Anything, there's animals that have openings in the back of their bodies, and that's what sodomizing come from, sodomy, because you mount, horses mount in the back, pigs mount in the back, dogs mount in the back. That's sodomizing, like Sodom and Gomorrah, sodomizing in Gondoria. That's where all diseases and stuff come from. When people go in the back of a cow, or go back in the back of a sheep, go back of a dog, you're sodomizing the animals. You're sodomizing the monkeys. You're sodomizing the sheep. You're sodomizing the dogs. So you get it?
yeah.
Yep.
And you know
You're
what? It
going
was
in the
man
back
doing
of
that.
them.
It was man doing that, right? And then they would go home and lay with their wife,
Of course, and give
and
the
then
wife
spread the disease, right? And then
That's
next thing
right.
you know, here's some new kind of weird
Mhm.
disease that's spreading around through the population, and it's because
That's right. That's how
some
the
foul
monkeys.
dude is in
That's
his
right.
farm, somewhere in his raising his sheep or cattle, and like he's off doing some old animalistic sick stuff. You know what I mean? Then he
Yeah,
goes home to his.
I once saw a video where there were three white males and they were naked and their penis was erected and they just had on some flip flops and they had all these pink swines in the stalls and they were raping them. They were going and sodomizing them. They were screaming and they were just raping them. And they get these animals pregnant and they get these dogs pregnant. And then a lot of females have sex with animals. They go to the hospital and they have dog babies and they have different kind of, where they've been with different animals.
I heard I was doing a little research. I wanted to know what you thought about you know how they say man's best friend, right? Domesticated dogs, man's best friend. I'm hearing that at some point during the breeding of of domesticated dogs, they mixed a little bit of human DNA with the dogs. That's why they can understand a human language. Like go get the shoe or
no. It's called generational curse. No, it is not. Put no DNA in no people. It's called generational curse. This mixing with animals go way back in the Bible. Go way all the way back to Abel and Cain, chaos. Cain had the mark of the beast. And people born with tails and all that stuff, sweetie, it is not any mixture of DNA. It goes back where women and men were having sex with animals. And that generational curse of that blood is 100 years or 10 generations. You know what I'm talking about? And it pops up. And every so often people are born with tails. I will send you the pictures so you can see. They're not creating them. It's been ongoing ever since Moses went to get the law. While he went to get the law, he was gone for a long time. And then you see these people were doing bestiality. Look at the movie Sodom and Gomorrah, 1962, with Stuart Granger. It's in color. It's called Sodom and Gomorrah, sodomizing and gunderia. On the records of 16 states right now, if you sodomize somebody, it's attempted murder. They used to arrest you if you sodomize people. Now they encourage sodomizing. But it's killing you because you're going in and you're putting into the body the foulness that is supposed to be released from the body. God created all these openings to release different things out of your body so it can stay holy and healthy. He gave you sweat glands to sweat it out of. He gave you tears to cry it out of, nose to blow it out of, mouth to gawk it out of, ears to drip it out of, a vagina and to secrete it, and a penis to urinate and pee it out of. And they gave everybody an anus to defecate. So these are all the openings that you're supposed to release poison out of the body, and you're not supposed to be taking different sex organs and putting it back into the body or putting it into animals.
Right. So do you think
people having sex with these animals? Wake up.
Bestiality. It's in certain countries it's actually like legal.
The devil. Listen, they showed you the devil. What did the devil look like? He was giant with horns on his head. He had cloven hoofs. Those are sign of animals. A devil with horns in his ear or on his head, like a bull, like a ram, like a deer, and with cloven hoofs, like a pig, like an animal, like a bull. So what do you think the devil was? You see it in the movies. It's big and giant, and it has horns on its head, and it has cloven hoofs. What is that telling you?
Goat.
What is that telling you?
He's mixed with a goat.
Telling you about an animal. Yeah, and what sign does the Baphomet give? What sign do they give? The devil worshippers. What do they have on their hands? What sign are they making? What sign are they making? Look, what sign are they making? Look, what sign are they making? Look. Sign.
Yeah, it's the goat. It's the goat horns.
Goat sign.
Yeah, well, that's bestiality.
Right. That's definitely that's what they into. They are into that, and there's certain countries where it's legal too, like Germany or Sweden or one of them countries. It's actually legal. But do you think
places they encourage it? Did I think what?
Do you think that is it a way that we can find out who these humans? Is it a way you can figure out if a human is actually mixed with something like that? Is it a way you can? Is there
I just
signs
told
from?
you there are people born with tails. I can send you pictures.
I've
They're
saw that
dog
before.
babies. If you
I've
work in a
definitely saw.
hospital, there are sheep. There are sheep with human faces on them.
And then the ones with the hair.
Prostitutes, and over in Mexico, you go to
Yeah,
Mexico, they're having sex with animals, and you can pay to see it. Over in Europe, you can pay to see it. There are male homosexuals that are having sex with horses and women, and they die right after they have sex with the horse because the horse is very powerful. His penis is giant, and he has a lot of power. He's knocking out your guts. You have internal bleeding. Have you ever seen a horse mount a female horse? And when he's horny, he'll kill you if you get in the way. Go to YouTube and look at it. Go to YouTube right now, everyone, and Google it, because everything is on YouTube for you to see. You can see a man mixed with a dog. You can see a man mixed with a goat, a man mixed with a snake. Whatever you want to see, Google it right now. What do you think Google is for? Go on YouTube and look at it. They're not hiding it from you. It's hidden in plain sight. They're putting it right in your face, but you don't want to believe the truth. You want to believe in fantasies. You want to believe in bullshit. You want to believe in lies. So all those who want to believe in that, continue. That's the blue pill. But if you want to take the red pill, you can see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Go to YouTube and see how deep it runs. Nobody's hiding anything. People that got these sheep faces and these dog faces and they look like animals, you see them all day long. The Elephant Man.
So they're amongst us.
Remember that movie?
Yeah. So they're amongst us. They walk amongst us, those that are mixed like that.
Yeah, of course. They've never stopped being among. Listen, hidden in plain sight. Won't you Google right now? You got your phone. Google YouTube and put in a dog baby, a pig baby, or people born with tails. Go ahead, so they can show you. Hit images, so they can show you. You'll see a baby born with a monkey tail.
Yeah, I have saw that.
Do it
I've
now.
also
see it. Do it now.
And I've also saw
so
people
you
with
can
horns.
see it.
Okay.
That's right. People born with horns on their head. People born dog brothers, born with nothing but dog hair all over them. They
Oh yeah,
like
that was in
dogs.
Mexico, right?
Yeah, but they got them everywhere.
I've seen
You
it.
can
I've
Google
seen
it
him,
right
yeah.
now. Anything you want to see. People, swine valve, swine children, goat face. Google it. Anything you want to see, it's there. It's right in your face. Some people don't want to accept it. That's good. For those who don't want to accept it, go to sleep, go back to sleep, and just continue the lie. For those who want to see how deep the matrix go, unplug. Take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Let me see. So that is, a lot of this stuff. I've heard a lot. I've heard some of it. You know what I mean? As far as the thing that people are mixed with, like some people are mixed with some like rhesus monkey blood or something like that, and
yeah, that's the negative blood. It's only been on the earth for the last 28,000 years. The O positive blood is the first Neanderthal blood. That is the ancient bloodline. That is the first blood to come upon the earth. And then the A and the AB and the B came later, and they're mixed with different variances of animals. But those A and AB and B. And then the negative blood is just the monkey rhesus blood. That's the negative blood that tries to kill the positive blood. And those people born with the negative blood, rhesus monkey blood, they can actually take on blood transfusions from the monkeys and the apes. That's why Charles Darwin told you they came from the apes. He told you where they came from. He didn't hide it. He said they had monkey blood. You do remember Darwin
Yeah, he
saying that, don't
definitely
you?
said that we
Darwin?
share a common ancestor. That's what he said. We share a
With the
common
gorilla.
ancestor. Yeah, we're apes. We're
He
not
was
monkeys. We
talking
come.
about. He was talking about.
Yeah, he was saying
Go
we're
ahead.
apes.
What you
We're
say?
from. Is our mic freeze or something?
He was talking about him and his. He was talking about. Listen to me. He was talking about him and his people.
Okay, right.
All the people that
Him and
have
his
that
people.
negative monkey rhesus blood. That's what he was talking about. Everybody on earth are not the same. There's different strokes for different folks, different people.
Okay,
What
that makes more sense.
happened?
Oh, I was just saying that makes more sense to me. I've always felt that way. Like everybody is not the same. Can't be. Like these different races and species of human, we can't all
What
be the
happened?
same. Maybe it always felt that way. I've always felt like
He was talking about all those people that had the monkey blood,
Right.
the rhesus bloodline. There's different
So we
strokes
have-
for different folks. Everybody doesn't have the
we
same
have-
blood. God told you will.
So there's a question on the screen, Sophia. I think Sophia freezing up.
yeah, it's freezing. You know, it's,
Sophia, I don't know if you can hear us, but we didn't hear you just now. Your screen, you froze out just now. So I know you might have been talking, but we
That's
didn't
right.
hear
It's
you.
different races. There are no races, but they're different tribes. Different tribes. Race.
keeps freezing.
Yeah, you're breaking up again, Sophia. Sophia, there's a question on the screen from Internal Music, and they said that I'm wondering what Sophia take is on how we can navigate through the matrix right now in 2022 and the future to come.
She still froze.
Okay, like I'm gonna have to repeat that question. So every time we start talking about that blood, this is when she gets disconnected.
Every
That's the
time.
same
That's
thing
it.
happened back in July.
That happened last time. Yeah, that happened last time.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to something else because and let's get to a couple of more in because it's almost 7 o'clock. I've been on since 5:30. It's 6:50. So let's just kind of wrap it up and then we'll have a private conversation. I'll give a conference number. We'll have a private conversation. Okay.
Okay, because
So
someone,
let's just kind of wrap
someone
it up.
has a
and
question.
We got 10 minutes. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, someone has a question from Zenterno Music. They said, I'm wondering what Sophia take is on how we can navigate through the matrix right now in 2022 and the future to come. That's from
How can we
Zenterno
navigate?
Music.
You navigate.
Yeah, she said
with
wondering, or
truth.
he said,
Yeah, you navigate with truth. You try to learn as much truth as you possibly can so you can go out and be successful.
mhm.
That is, truth is a very powerful force. It is very powerful to will truth, but you'll be successful. Any other questions? And make sure you get my books, the Matrix and Terminator books. They're selling everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Nook Press, all over, on demand, and my website, matrixterminator.com or truthaboutmatrix.com. Get the books, email me. Let's get started. Let's get busy.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I always learn something new. Always interesting
Any
conversation.
other
You know.
questions?
You have any questions, Shepsu or the
No,
Oracle?
well, I was
You have
no, I
any
was gonna
questions?
no, I was no, I didn't have a question, but I was gonna say that I always wanted to meet her since I saw her on the Philip Matthews show that time, and I was very impressed about those books
Yeah, I
about the
love it.
movie that she made. So that was excellent. That was something mind blowing because when that movie came out, I was already practicing in spirituality. And when that movie came out, all those concepts that we had learned came so clear to us like, whoa, that's true. It's like, we are really in the matrix. But we had different terminology for those things. We were talking more about
Right.
programming or conditioning that would, and then how while you coming out from your programming, you realize that you are being controlled by some forces. And then when the movie came out, it was easy for us to just use that word matrix to explain us those concepts. So that's what I
Hmm.
wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, so make sure everyone that's listening, you check out her new book at thematrixterminator.com and the other books too as well, not just the new book, but the books before that.
Yeah, well, Matrix is to unplug you to the
You're breaking up, Sophia. So sorry.
They
They
don't
do
want
this all the
they don't want her to tell the
truth
story.
time. Mm-mm.
and unplug you from all the ignorance and the lies and the programming.
Yes.
Yeah, the Matrix 4 is the fourth installment, the continuation.
And
Yes,
then
get the
also,
Third Eye Matrix and Terminator book is where it all began.
Yeah.
Wow, keep breaking up.
oh,
We all
wow.
know. We know what that
Thank
is.
you.
And I'm going to go ahead and let's
Mhm.
have a private conversation, you guys. And I want to say
Okay.
Yeah.
goodbye
Yes,
to
that's better.
everybody. And thank. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sophia. I
All right. Thank
appreciate you
you.
all the time.
Yes.
I think her screen freezed up, so she's not even able to disconnect. Yeah, but every time the conversation gets deep, like the one we was just having, the,
Yes.
back in July when she came on, we were on the same exact topic. She was saying the same exact thing,
Wow.
and that's when her connection started acting up. I promise you,
Yeah. I can understand that.
never fails.
But maybe if the queen is no longer here, they will stop. But they continue.
What'd you say?
I was saying, I thought maybe if the queen is no longer around, they would stop their trick. But they ain't stopping. They're continuing.
Oh, that ain't gonna stop nothing. Dead or
No.
alive, the dead or
Yeah.
alive, it goes on.
She's not the system. She's just She's just part of the system. She's not the system. The system
Yeah.
has it. The system have to
Different
be changed.
fragments.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
system has to be
Yeah.
changed by chosen people like us. It has to be changed because it's the thing is like it has to do with the perception of reality that we have. It's like and that's the hardest thing to change. You can change. You can have. You can learn a lot of African history, practice spirituality, but still enjoy your lives and your wants and the way you are. You love the way you are. You enjoy. You say you cannot change to what you are. So as long as you remain the same, you're still going to be part of the same frequency or matrix, as we said. Is That's the hardest thing to change is because once let's say people who practice santeria or voodoo, they do animal sacrifices and then but so they can activate some forces to accomplish a certain thing. The thing about that is that they don't do any internal transformation, so they remain the same themselves. So nothing really get accomplished as far as a change within the personality or the society or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, but that those
Some of
conversations is for later on for our own show later on.
hmm I
Yeah,
think
but
I think in some cases there is an internal transformation. I think it just depends on who that person is, what geographic location we're talking about.
Yeah.
uh, well, it does well. We know we know that we have TV everywhere in the world. We have the church everywhere in the world. We have those missionaries that go deep into those villages everywhere,
Hmm.
Africa, the Amazon, and then converting people.
Hmm.
So
I know.
once you get the concepts of reality that they bring with them, that transforms you. Even the way you speak the language itself, you have a certain way of thinking that comes with the language that created those concepts. There are certain concepts of reality that they don't have in certain languages. So the English language will create so many different realities, so many state of beings that you will be able to manifest all those. They can create those realities for you to be in, like they're boxing you in certain reality. Oh, now you're depressed. They calling it depressed, so they give certain specific symptoms that you can feel to be depressed or have anxiety. Many of these words uh,
Hmm.
define the state of being of somebody. You've been boxed into some those categories. When you don't have many those words to specify certain things, you may be able to get rid of that energy easier than once you will start defining them. But we have the society, the type of society we have. That's the type of society that had those words. Those other society didn't have the existence of those words. So when they go with their concepts of reality, that's when you start perceiving, you thinking that their thing is better than what you have, because
Hmm.
you see them, they have everything without you not knowing the politics behind how come they have acquired all the things that they have acquired. But you don't know that, you only know what's going on within the moment that you live in. So whatever they tell you, especially if you're not knowing your history, whatever they tell you, you'll believe. You see, and once you believe, and then you believe that their reality, you believing in a God that's outside of you, for example, that's the biggest thing itself. Believing in a God that's outside of you. So that means you are unable to really treat yourself, because all your help have to be come from outside. You have to be fulfilled
Yeah.
from outside. You know, your food has to come from it's like let's say any any relief from pain, internal pain. Talking more about emotional pain. have to come from outside. Here, take a pill or take a, and so you don't get used to remain within the self. And by remaining within the self, you're remaining within. Are you connected with everybody and everything? So they don't want you to know that part of being connected. That once all are connected, they're not going to be able to enjoy the lower self. That means that that's what causes people to disunite is the lower self of the individual, the desires, because the desires of the individual were made for the individual to survive but not to remain there, because that's what differentiates us from the animals, you see, because we have those urges to have sexual intercourse so you can procreate. You have the urges to eat, so you won't die. You see, you have all these urges, but those people remain on those levels of urges. They don't cannot grow beyond the urges and become civilized, as we call civilized, and until you become a god man, a god woman. So you can go beyond those needs of those desires. So that's why once they become hooked into those desires, the taste of the food, the sex, the power, the physical that they can have on other people, which is an illusion, really. But they have to inflict the power on those who believe, because those who don't believe those concepts, you won't have any power on them. So that's why they have to educate you into the system. That's why they have to call Alexander the Great, which is Alexander, instead of saying Alexander the criminal, the rapist, the thief. They call it. You see in their history.
Yeah, well, he's great according to the Greeks, you know.
Yes,
He's great in their eyes.
exactly, exactly. But that's how we've been indoctrinated to think of. When we also be repeating the same thing, because that's how they propagate their religion and their philosophy and their ways. You see, to our schools, universities. So for us to feel like we have achieved a high level of intellectual academic achievement, we have to, in philosophy, we'll have to know their philosophy. You see, their ways. You see, if practicing a religion, the religion that really have worth, it has to be their religion, because ours is just, these people worship tree, worship rocks. You see, they don't. We always had the concept of one God. We always had those, but they don't want that. That's not what they want to talk about. You see, they want to talk that we have polytheist. We are polytheists. That's what they say. You see, so when Sophia speak about the matrix, I understand exactly her point, and it's nice that we had her to explain how all her concepts, and her concepts are very, very interesting, and very. These are concepts that can be seen, as she said.
Especially the Frankenstein topic.
Yes.
See that Mary Shelley Frankenstein? I thought it was the one in 2017 I saw. It wasn't 2017. It was the one in 1994 that I saw. They also
Okay.
came out with, I guess, a reversion of the one from 1994 and 2017. But the one
Mhm.
she wanted us to look at is the one back in the 70s in black and white. I'm gonna check that
Yes.
one out tomorrow
Yes.
sometime
Yeah.
on the free movies station. But
Yes.
yeah, this
That's
lady Mary
that's
Shelley, that her book that she wrote on Frankenstein was based on a true story.
So you probably find it on YouTube as well. Who knows?
Yeah, but YouTube probably will make you pay for it. I have a
Okay.
free website I go to where I can watch it for free.
On demand.
No, on free movies for you.com.
Okay. Yeah. But we also have that concept of the matrix. We also understand what the matrix is, and to understand the matrix is not understood like it's not something that can be understood intellectually. It's an experience. It's something that you have to experience because it may make say it may it make it may make sense. It may make sense to somebody when you explain about the matrix and everything and your
Hmm.
emotions and all that stuff. But until you do not experience that you are being controlled by those energies, you won't know that you are in the matrix. You see, even I, who am studying and I'm going through different initiations, I am still in the matrix, but I know it. I know those powers that control me. I can see them. I am in touch with them, and I know, I be uncovering little by little those layers of control. You see, I've been able to go through it with the help of the ancestors and the gods and all that stuff and meditation. But if you, for you to know that you are in the matrix, if you don't know that you are in the matrix, you believe you're not in the matrix. That's when you really are in the matrix. You see, when you believe you're not in the matrix, but for you to know that you're not in the matrix, you have to go through a certain procedure, a procedure of being aware of your automatic responses on a daily basis as you walk around. You see, as you interact with people, as you watch TV, as you washing the dishes. In what state of mind are you? Or what response do you do automatically? You give automatically to situations and to circumstances and to interacting with people. What if are you able to catch yourself when you imagining or indulging into certain thoughts? Are you able to catch yourself and see what are you feeling during those moments? Because if you get immersed into those thoughts without even realizing that you are in a certain state of being, a state of mind, your body is in a state of emotion. You see, that's and then you go into the imagination alone. You're not even catching, you're not realizing that you are in that there is those emotions that really they're the one that really keeps you into the dominion, those emotions. So it's a procedure. It's a procedure that takes years practicing and writing and taking into meditation the things that have more impact in you on a daily basis when you go out. So it's a procedure if you and it's not intellectual. Intellectual is important because intellectual is is the first receptive way of you getting the information because those information if let's say for example for myself as an example have not known that uh, about the society that I became member of. I would have not known that I was in the matrix, so I just know that something was wrong, but I didn't have the terminology to explain it. You see, I didn't have like the concepts. You see, I didn't think that I was in myself. I thought I was a free person. I thought, I thought the things that happen in the reaction. I didn't even realize that there was something they call automatic reaction or things of that nature. So, and but it goes really beyond that. But that's how a difference that makes between believing and knowing because believing is yeah you believe oh might say to you I forgive you because in the Bible it's either you like if you're a Christian so different Christians have different ways for which their sins are pardoned. Some believe some believe in a man that can tell you you see I forgive you go home and do this and do that and then all your sins, can be washed away. And others don't want to go to a man, but they do believe that Jesus Christ died for their sin. So, no matter what kind of energy they have already put out there, going to be clean just by saying "forgive me." But when you ask that, when you ask the question, so we wouldn't have so many mental patients And if you had so much power to clean all these things, you should instead use that power to feed the whole world instead of, and but all their power is based on things that they cannot prove. You see, so they create the illusion by, so the person go and commit all kind of crime, rape and everything, kill a lot of people, and then he comes to the priest, and the priest said, okay, you just have to recite the Virgin Mary 10 times or something like that, and then you'll be okay. And
Yeah.
then the person feel real satisfied and fulfilled. But the
Hmm.
things that happen
Then
is
you're
like,
forgiven. You're
yeah,
forgiven for all your sins.
yeah, and then the subconscious is himself. The subconscious doesn't know any of those things. The subconscious already have taken certain shape. Once you have done those crimes, the subconscious have taken a certain direction, a certain form that cannot be undone just by saying 3 words. I forgive you. You have to go through a whole process of cleaning, and and getting rid of those energies and those thoughts and those, you see. And then, but these people, now you tell them, I forgive you, and then they go by their business. So they don't mind, they don't bother into looking into their subconscious, into looking into themselves, to find out what's been corrupted, what's so dirty within them. They don't even
Hmm.
bother to do that. So they go in their life living the illusion that everything is well. So, but they never really discover what they are. They never know what they are, because until you go clean these things, all the stuff that are inside of you, you will not know what you are. And if you let the ego prevents you from doing those works, you will never know. So you will live. If you have the incarnation, you have this incarnation. Are you willing to live this whole entire existence without knowing what you really are? Are you willing, like, without really experiencing what you really are, without experiencing joy, without going through those stages of development? No.
Yeah,
It's
you have some people that's doing that unconsciously.
Yes. Most of us, even those of us who say we are spiritual and we are, it's not easy to change. It's not easy. They want a lot of things for them, but when they say that things are not getting there, they don't understand the blockages that they have within their way. Why things are not getting. And then it's not always about you. It's not about us. I mean, it's not always. It's about your objective. You see, it's about your objective, what you came to do. But different people are at different levels. Yeah. So it's a conversation that needs a little more elaboration, since I wasn't really ready for that. Not something that I was planning on talking. I was mostly planning on listening today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my plan. So,
I guess you changed your mind, huh?
well, you encouraged me.
Oh well, I thought maybe you wanted to have a little dialogue with Sophia, you know?
Yeah, well, yes. After she started talking about those things, then it became very interesting. But as she says, she's gonna be giving us a private meeting or something. So that we'll probably have the chance to
Hmm.
speak about those things, because I see her mentioning the Bible a lot, and then
Yeah, I know. I know.
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't see it as anything negative, because as I said that before, that the Bible being it's a lot of things in the Bible that can be very useful, and but there's a lot of things in the Bible that been put there, it been changed there also, that are not in our best interest to see the Bible as a book of that will take us to heaven. Because, and then there is another thing that people don't even think of. They thinking about the devil in the Bible, but how many people did the devil kill in the Bible, and how many people did God kill in the Bible? Let's compare
Hmm.
numbers.
Hmm.
See? Because God really killed a lot of people in the Bible. You see, and
Well, you
then
know,
God,
some people
yeah,
some people don't look at it like that, you know. They'll have a reason to say why
yes,
that happened, you know. They'll
Yeah.
give you a legitimate reason coming from their perspective or their
Yes.
perception of why
Yes.
that happened to justify it, and I guess to keep
Yes.
doing what they're doing. I mean, I think that some people, they come from an era where the Bible was stronghold in society, so some people could take it and use it in an allegoric, metaphysical type of way, and some
Yes.
people will take it actual literal. Like you said, we hear Sophia talking about Moses and the Bible and things like that, even though I have a different perspective and a different standpoint when it comes to that. I'm not going
Yes.
to engage in a no, Moses is not real, no, this is not. She's speaking
Yeah.
from a certain
Exactly.
topic and a certain discussion, so I could
Exactly.
see why she would use that story as an example,
Hmm.
because most people
Exactly.
could relate to it better than her
Exactly.
saying it from a more higher metaphysical term. And if
Exactly.
that's where her belief system is, who am I to try to tell someone
Yes.
not
Yes.
to believe that way? If it's working for her and it's good for her, that's fine. What's
That's
working for
right.
me and good for me, that's fine for me. But I'm not getting ready to have that Bible back and forth debate.
Yeah, because when you in a spiritual direction, yeah, you can always take what's important within anything. You see, you don't have to take the whole thing, but there is always you can always
Mhm.
find something that can be useful. You
But she
see,
also speaks from a spiritual point of view at the same time, so it's like a balance.
yes,
She's not 100% dogmatic and indoctrinated. You get what I'm
yes,
trying to say?
yes. I think so.
Yeah.
Also, that's what I think. I
You
just
know?
yeah, because sometimes you don't. There's certain things. For example, when they're talking about the creation of the world, and then the God created men and women, and then God told them, you can eat out of all of this tree except from the tree of life.
Of life. Yes.
Yes, and if you eat from that tree, you will die. But then God was a liar because they didn't die when see. Because they're gonna
Hmm.
the devil said if you eat from that tree, you're gonna become like him, God. And that's true. We are gods. We became like gods. You see? The thing is like it's depending on the interpretation, but that's what we
Yeah,
are
because
because
some people don't think that. They don't think that we're gods. They think that there's a higher God and we can't be higher than that God.
no, that there is a higher there is it's not a
And
question
we
of
we can't
yeah,
be equal to that. We are a
yeah.
subject of it.
Yes, well, we are like we are co-guarder, I just use that word like we were together with God. We it's like we are the same God that have divided into a multiplicity of beings. So we
Hmm.
all participated in deciding how this universe is going to be. We all did it together with the one God that had divided into all of these beings. You see, but those concepts too is not something to be understood like intellectually. It's more of something that has to be done like through when you practice meditation, and you're gonna be able to connect and see the unity that you and everything else have, and you see that there is no concept of you see there is no concept of time in there,
Hmm.
and there is no concept of distance in there.
Hmm.
It's like it's something that has always been there, and it's something that's will always be there. So it's as you deepen into those areas, it will make sense when people talking about being able to connect telepathically with others, because even when
Yes.
yeah, even not being in those levels, sometimes we think of somebody and that person just call, or things like that happens to us, showing us that there is certain capabilities that we could have had. But as you progress in your spiritual development, you realize that more of those things that they say that we are able to do, you see is more possible. because you see the progress. Like when they tell you how to deal with situation like conflict, and then they tell you, okay, how you going to deal with the conflict. Some people will go and make a plan and think about the conflict, how I'm going to solve that conflict. And spirituality may tell you, depending on the situation, may tell you, oh, the best way to deal with that conflict is ignoring every thought that comes
Mm-hmm.
related to the conflict, and then the conflict will disappear. That means you change
Right.
frequency. But how?
Disappear and then reappear.
Yeah, but you have to be able to change frequency. But they're teaching you how to do all of that. They're teaching you how to change frequency. How to change
Yeah.
frequency is the most interesting. That's that's such interesting thing. It's like you once you become engaged into really spirituality, like you don't miss the chicken fry, the Popeyes or the Kentucky or anything. Like you see, you will start becoming more fulfilled within. So that as an incentive for you to pursuing deeper, deepen, because what is it that you want? You see, what is it that you want? Why? Because we all chose to go into a spiritual path for a reason. You see, what is that you're looking for? What's your objective? What's the reason? Why? Why are you doing it? You see, are you doing it out, as she said, living truth? You see, but the thing is, like maybe she has a different concept of living truth as I do. But I'm willing to. I'm talking about Sophia, maybe.
Yeah,
But
she does, especially when she was touching on the Anubis and
yes,
the Egyptian animal heads. That wasn't from
yes,
crossbreeding. Those were
yeah,
symbolic,
exactly, exactly. So like
But I didn't
exactly,
want to say, that's not that because, she has her perception and
yeah.
I don't want to,
Yeah, but you know that I have different perception also. But you say okay, but I'm not gonna say anything either. So because it's okay because I accept
I
because
mean, if you wanted to say something, you could have, but I know I'm talking about me. I just felt like not going there, you
no,
know.
no, no. It's our show. You see, we have to allow her to elaborate, and then
Hmm.
we'll learn a lot of things from those elaborations. But one thing that I know is that some Western documentary has those same concepts about those things of bestiality and things of that. Putting those um, putting the ancient Egyptian in those categories. You see,
Yeah, I know. I know.
yeah, but it's all right.
Sometimes, sometimes,
Mm,
sometimes for you to learn from somebody, you have to take away your objective mind and your own beliefs and put them aside and just listen to what the other person is saying, regardless of whether you believe in what they say or you do not believe in what they say. But you just listen and give them a chance to explain with everything that they got, with their wisdom, with the experience that
mhm,
they have that you may not have had. And from that, a person can speak 1,000 words, and you can just pick up one thing out of all those 1,000 words. Just pick up one thing that will resonate with you, that will work for you in certain ways, and that's how we learn. That's how we gather information here on earth. As
Hmm.
spiritual beings,
mhm,
we have this collective knowledge that with our godly consciousness we know the truth. That is why even if someone can say 1,000 words that are lies and say one thing that is true, your spirit will be able to identify that truth, you know. And that is how we get to grow as people. Because now, if you come with that objective mind, whereby when someone starts mentioning the Bible, you switch off. When they start mentioning Christianity, you switch off. You won't learn anything.
Exactly.
You will
Hmm.
not learn anything.
I mean,
So
I got
for
her
us to
point,
learn, yes,
so I didn't
for
need
us
to
to
do that.
learn,
I know where she was going.
Yeah.
exactly. And remember, most people miss vital and important information because now, once someone starts to talk about something that they don't believe in, they start an argument, you know, they start an
Yeah.
argument whereby the person who's trying to give you information becomes demoralized now. They just feel like now what they're saying has no value to you. So there's no use for them to
To
carry on.
continue. Hmm.
Yeah, you see. But if you can just give a person a chance to express what they want to express to you, then you might learn something. Even though you feel that a lot of what they saying is a bunch of BS, you know, but somewhere you if you just listen, that's all you need to do. You just listen, then you will see within that bunch of BS, there might be something that you take out, which
Something
is
is going to be
now,
true. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Not all of it is
yeah,
going to be
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah. What I think is like is even it is even although she might use symbols and stuff, but the concept it, the concept as a whole is what have the truth within it. The concept.
Hmm.
See, like because anyway, she can use Moses, as you say, she can use whatever example she want to use is
Hmm.
okay. But the concept, the idea,
The point that she's
yeah,
making.
the point that she's making, that's what makes sense. The point that
yeah.
so as the oracle said, it's like you cannot be emotional about you know if
And
you
it was
certain
allegoric anyway, and it's metaphoric anyway when she was going into the Bible. So I was
yeah
looking at it from an allegoric, metaphoric sense. So, you
exactly
know, even if she wasn't, that's how I was seeing it. So I was able to feel where she was going and understand what
exactly
she was talking about, you know.
yes
Yeah.
and she made it now
And
Allegorically speaking and metaphorically speaking, she's right.
yes and
you
I
don't
agree
have to believe in something for you to learn from it, you know. I do not believe in the Bible or the Quran or any other religious texts, you know. But when I am having conversations with people, I sometimes use those books as a reference, you know. I do
Hmm.
quote the Bible here and there, but not because I believe in it, but it's because I'm trying to make sense to you about something that I know if I quote from a certain book, you will be able to understand it, you know.
yeah
So
Yes,
you don't have to be religious to speak about religion, you know.
exactly.
You don't have to be a Christian to know about Christ. Because now remember how stereotypical people can be. You listen to a lot of them when they say, "Do not speak of the devil. Do not speak of the devil in the house of the Lord." How are you going to know about the devil if you don't speak
If you don't
about
talk
him?
about it, yeah,
because
exactly.
they're
You
the
know?
devil you see that's why because
So
when you say God kill more
your
people
belief,
the and the devil.
Yeah, your belief blinds you now.
When we
Okay.
get
You become
a,
blind. You
such a
blinded
great
by
God.
your
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll speak later.
and therefore everything everything that comes which is different from what you believe in is going to be negative, going to be evil to you in your eyes. It's going to be, once you have that stereotype kind of thinking. Um, I was laughing earlier on today. We were in the Free State. A friend of mine had a family gathering, so we traveled far from where I live. So I was laughing when people were just congratulating us for coming there to support our friend, coming all this way from Gauteng province to Free State. And someone someone was just saying, you know, you, you took your time to be here, and um, the Christian within you is the one that influenced you to be here today. I knew I'm not Christian, but they,
But it makes
they
them feel
saying
good
it,
knowing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're saying it from a good place. It comes from a good place. It doesn't mean that if I'm not Christian now, I should start saying, whoa, 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 stop, 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 stop. Don't say that. Now I would have ruined that good gesture that they were making, you know, because they were saying to
Yeah.
Yeah.
us, you are showing us humanity. They were saying the Christian in you, the one that influenced you to do this, to come here. They were simply saying you showed us humanity. You
Mhm.
showed us the support. We thank you for that. But what would have
Brotherly,
happened if I
sisterly
started
love.
yeah, if I started stopping them now and saying, no, 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 don't call me Christian, I'm not Christian, I would have ruined that beautiful thing, you know.
Right,
And I
right. They
laugh
would have looked at you
because
as a bad person now if you would have started cutting them up.
Yeah.
and one thing that made me laugh so much because when they were saying that it's old women, or elderly women, when they were saying
Right.
that, the people I was traveling with, they looked at me like they wanted me to say something or they were expecting me to say something. And they just found me smiling and accepting whatever was being said to me. So
Hmm.
yeah, we need to play with the stereotype that you get something out of what somebody is saying, and you take only that which you can do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like when you're not if you don't have 100% confident in yourself, in what you have known or in what you know,
You don't have to
you
go there. Exactly. You don't
yeah,
have to. You don't have to
Yeah.
entertain it.
exactly. You don't have, yeah, and you don't have to
Hmm.
have fear to hear everything. You can hear everything. I'm willing to hear anybody talks. I'm not gonna be afraid that you're gonna be able to convince me that what I'm doing is wrong, and then that you have the
Yeah,
truth.
exactly. You speaking from your knowledge of truth, and
Yeah,
who am I to break
Yeah.
that? You know,
because
who am I
I
to
know what
break
I
that?
can do. I know a lot of things that I can do. Like it's amazing. Like whoa, like I can see like those energy controlling. See? I can see them. I can like almost can, like they say, you can almost taste them. You
Hmm.
see, so it's nothing more than you discovering what you are. Because by
Hmm.
discovering what you are, you discover the whole universe, as they say, as it has been said, since the ancient Egyptians had those saying. So the things like when you start exploring, you're gonna be meeting a lot of fear within. A lot of fear is gonna be met because you're not gonna be. It's not gonna be easy to give up what you were, how you've been program. You see, because you get what they call cognitive dissonance every time you be faced with something that's not as you expected, and you live all your life thinking that's how it was.
Yeah.
Will be meeting that very often, and especially the fear part, because this is a the system in itself is based on fear. The religion is based on fear, and even the punishment is based on fear. It's not based on transformation, on helping you understand that you and the others are united. We are one. You see, and damaging the other, you're really damaging yourself. You see, you're
Mhm.
not.
Yes.
Greed is not really going to take you anywhere, but so far, and it's only for limited time being. It's not something eternal. You're not aligning yourself with the eternal. You're aligning yourself with the limited, with
Mhm.
those basic, with those basic urges that God put within us just for survival. You see, the people want to control everything. You see, they want like power. They like, want to be able to eat the best food, and they want to be able to be felt superior to others. You see, so those feelings
Mm.
that they put like within you for survival, you get hooked into that level. You cannot go like beyond. So you're going to do anything to keep those who don't know that there is something better, to keep them on the same level in order for you to be able to master them, to control them. So you have to indoctrinate them into believing that they don't have that God inside, that God is somewhere else, and that you have to pray to that God that is somewhere else. And so once they do that, they are able to remain in those and keep us at the same level. See, because I never knew like about seeing myself as a spiritual being as I do now. And now people just say, "Oh, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience," or "I'm a God." They're just saying it, but me, I know. It's like it's different. I know it's like because
Mhm.
I'm having the experience as I speak, as I'm talking
Exactly.
to you right now. I can see, like, let's say, for example, brother the oracle was speaking, and I say, okay, I speak later, but I'm experiencing myself. I'm experiencing what's going on within me. You see, am I being polite enough? How am I reacting? How am I doing it? You see, I'm more focusing on how well I'm doing whatever I'm doing, more so than what other might think or what other might, you see.
Yes.
Yeah, more of how my being is taking whatever's happening at the moment more important than everything external. You see, so because the better you are within, the better your relationship will be external, because your internal will manifest itself externally. So your environment. I'm giving you an example of my mother always complaining about certain things, certain things, certain things. But I asked my mother, "What about your?"
Oh, that's where you get that from. No, I'm just joking.
I asked my mother, "What about your friends? Do they complain about the same thing that you complain?" She said,
Yeah, most likely.
"No, they don't. They don't, because they don't see that, like, the word in that same, they don't have the same energy attached to them. They complain about other things, but not the same thing that she does."
Not what she does. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. They
so
complain, but not like her.
yeah, because that's a reflection. Whatever she complained that people do to her is a reflection
Oh,
of
what she
her,
said
her
that made
inner
that
self,
happen.
her
Hmm.
inner self. You see, so whatever inner self you reflect, because different people, you see that, then they can be in the same environment, but they're not complaining about the thing, because they say, why they doing that to you, but they're not doing it to me. You see, and that has to do. And then, but we think that it's because all these people hate me or this thing, but
Hmm.
they don't realize that it is you attracting certain energy. And you see, yesterday I saw Philip Chuck Matthews live, And he always have this doctor. He's been having it like for a year now. Dr. Clyde Winters. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
What's his name?
Clyde Winters.
Clyde Winters.
Clyde
No,
Winters. Oh yeah, well he's the
I
biggest.
have to see his face.
He's the
The
biggest
name's
thing
not
right
ringing
now.
a bell.
Yeah. Oh, he's been here like almost every week. Almost every week he has a different show with Philip. Almost every week, and he's the biggest thing right now. And he said something that I was like, whoa. He said that the African were willing participant into the Atlantic slave trade, not force, willing participant. They will even sell one of the wife for a bottle of rum. That they were addicted to what those Europeans were offering them for people. I'm not saying all of them were like that because I know Queen Nzinga wasn't like that. I know that King Alfonso wasn't like that. I know several that Shaka Zulu wasn't like that. You see, there were there
But
were many who even
if they
died for the people that they still had
if
the
they were
head.
willing participants, why were they chained? Why did they have to put them in chains if they were willing participants?
Yeah, many were willing. So when they say, when people say, "Oh no, the African were very good people," and then the European just came and kidnapped me, it doesn't happen like that. Things doesn't happen like that. You have to attract certain energy. You know, it's difficult to understand, but you have to attract some certain energy for things to happen in a certain way. People are afraid to talk about the ugly part of of what have occurred. Oh, you see, but they they want to be sentimental and cry and all this kind, all these I'm not gonna say too many things because I don't want I don't want people to be on us on a negative vibration. But they get very emotional. They get very emotional about what have occurred as far as the enslavement, the rapes, the killings. You see, well, at least we're here
Yeah.
now, right? And can we make a difference with what we have instead, of crying about what had happened? You see, you see, as
Yeah.
you said, in order for us to really learn something about of the world, of
Hmm.
in order for us to learn anything, something about the world, we have to understand all the dimensions of people, all this of the cycles. You see, we cannot be afraid of understanding others. Some people say, "Oh no, I don't
Hmm.
want to be mixed with certain group of people or that group of people." But you have to go through everything. If you're a God, God is within everything. You see, if you're a God, you cannot be afraid of anything. You have to be able to go through everything and understand everything, and enjoy your moments. You see, enjoy your moment. Then you can be doing a revolution because there is no better way to do a revolution if you don't know your enemy. You know your enemy.
True. Okay, because that's what the enemy does. They study who they're trying to attack, and
Yeah,
then
they
they
study you.
they know how to
Exactly.
target them when they're ready to execute their attack because they study you.
Exactly. Yeah, but and then people, and then that's what it is. They have to put the concept of revolution in your mind. So a concept of revolution that can put you into trouble, so they can put their hands on you, and that's it. This guy is going in, and we're still gonna make money with him once he decides stuff like that.
Hmm.
But but we don't have the real concept of revolution, because when we think about the ancient Egyptians, and we say, how can the ancient Egyptians were conquered by the Persians, then by the Romans, and not only the Roman took the power from the Persians, and how did that happen? You see, and and then when we go and look at what is written on the stones and all the things that they left for us to remember back what had occurred, this was part of the revolution, that we're going to be waking up again and we're coming back again to continue the revolution. We didn't have to go into, a I don't know if you read that book about Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black
Yes.
Civilization. Yeah,
Yeah, I
very.
have it. I have that book.
Yeah, you see the way he explains it, that as these people, many of them had to be fleeing, and that have happened even, let's say, many thousands years ago. He said they start fleeing, that they were conquered, they start fleeing, and then they went to the south of Africa. Many of them that have been formed tribes, as they say. Well, actually, most in Black studies they don't use the word tribes anymore. We use the word ethnic groups, because tribes sound like somebody who's savage, while these people were
Yeah,
not savage.
primitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
primitive, and while these
And
people were very. Yes.
you see
Go ahead.
Chancellor is eloquent as he is as a writer.
Yes.
He's a Christian,
Yeah, that's
but
amazing.
he's not your typical Christian. Just like
Yeah.
years ago, you had the deacons of defense, where deacons would actually have arms. They would actually have guns to protect the
Yes.
neighborhood and protect their
Okay.
church from the KKK trying to burn the church down,
Yes.
or bothering them, police brutality and everything. Nowadays, you talk about deacons of defense taking up arms and guns. They're like, no, that's
Yeah.
wrong. We can't kill.
Exactly.
But those deacon of defenses back in the days, they didn't look at it as the Bible saying, "Thou shalt not kill," and I'm not going to protect my neighborhood and my family. They didn't have
Mhm.
they didn't let that stop them. You know what I'm
And
saying? So you're just different with you're dealing with a different time frame of Christians, a different time
yes.
frame of people, because
Yes.
he's a Christian
Yeah.
and he wrote that book. Marcus Garvey was said to be a Catholic, and look, he's telling us Africa for the Africans, Europe is for Europe. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
So
I got you, sister.
these
I'm
people
telling you.
they balance religion and spirituality. They knew
You
what to do with it and when to use it, when to put it. It was personal to them. Their religion was personal to them, but when it came to the collective and for the betterment of their people, they didn't think religious all the time.
I'm telling you. Your abilities are beyond this world, sister.
Look at
But
Harriet Tubman. She was a
yeah,
Christian. So
yeah. But
she
but what
walked
I'm
around with her gun all the time.
Yeah. But what happened is that that's all they knew. You see, that's where they grew up. So
Right.
they didn't grow up
That time
in a
frame.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
They didn't
some
have
even say
internet.
that because like when you study voodoo, and you found that the Fon people had a lot to do with the practice of voodoo, and they were I don't have the information. I had written all of the information. I was taking notes about it on the Bambaras, I think, or the Fons, and another group of people that they did ship a lot of they did sell a lot of the prisoners, the war prisoners, to the whites who brought them to Santo Domingo. That was the name
Yeah.
of the island back then.
Yeah.
And
And
then they, but
Brazil. Those
yeah, so they
places.
did
Yeah.
participated. They did participated, but those same warriors were the one who created who
Brought the religion
the
there.
revolution. Yes,
Hmm.
you see. So they did participate. You see, they did participate based on what I have read and based on what. Oh, so you heard when I said about the Philip Matthews show about Dr. Clyde Winter said that the Africans were willing participants into the Atlantic slave
Well,
trade.
I mean, that's obvious. The Ashanti priest some years ago, I think it was back in the 80s or early 90s, and a newspaper clip, he was apologizing for
Yes,
his
I remember
ancestors
that.
partaking. And this is in Ghana, the Ashanti from Ghana. He apologizing for his ancestors who partook in slavery.
Yes,
But
yes,
when we put it in, we gotta like sometimes put it in perspective, because when you have a gun, it wasn't just all about, oh, I'm going to sell the prisoners of war. Sometimes it was, if you don't sell these prisoners of wars, I'm taking you and your family. So when your back is against the wall, you rather sell me than sell your daughter,
Yeah. Well, Dr.
or you
Klein,
rather sell you than sell your wife. It was a
Dr.
lot of
Klein,
those situations happening too that people don't like to talk about. They only like to talk about the part where they sold the prisoners of wars into slavery. They don't like to talk about the part where they wasn't with selling anybody into slavery, but
yeah.
because their back was against the wall and they had to make a choice, that's what they did.
Yeah,
You
Shaka
know?
Zulu
So
didn't do
that was
that.
why, yeah. So that was why one of the reasons why the Ashanti priest took his the
Apologize.
initiative, the initiative to apologize for his ancestors, partaking in that. And to be honest with you, Ghana is really the only country that I'm familiar of on the continent that have taken up that that oath to apologize like that and open up the doors to us and give us land and tell us to come and bring our skills and our talents and things like that.
Yes.
So there's been apologies from the Gold Coast, part of Africa, that recognize that they have, a big partake in it, and they try to right their wrongs off in a certain way.
Yeah, because
That's
we
why you
have,
have a lot of diasporians going to, Ghana per se, because of that.
yes. We have yeah, because we have Queen Nzinga, we have Shaka Zulu, we have all these other great men that fought. We have Alfonso from Congo, who they had to kill. They had to kill him because he wouldn't sell his people.
They weren't going for that, exactly.
Yeah, but there were also those who were willing to participate. That was Dr. Clyde said Winters.
Yeah.
That's the biggest right now. That's the biggest historians right now that are known that I know because he challenges anyone. So he's every week he's on the Philip Matthews show. You can watch the last show that was entitled the white know that the Olmecs were Africans. That's the title. That was the last show that I saw. That was last week. That's where he said that the Africans were willing participants into the enslaved trade. But I know why it's mainly because he cannot generalize it, of course, because we know that we
Well, they were,
yeah. And then he said
and
that
some of them are still doing it today,
yeah,
just
because
in a
they said
different form.
yeah.
It's still happening today, just in a different format. But
Yes.
I see it. I see it repeating itself again.
Correct. And I also found the names of the people, those Africans that when they sent to the ethnic groups of African that was sent to Hispaniola, to to Santo Domingo. They were the Fon people, and but there were the Aradas. Those are the people who originated, basically. I don't know if there were maybe more before the Aradas,
Yeah.
people who had the voodoo. But the Fon had the voodoo, and then the Aradas and the Fons, the Aradas had war between them and the Fons, and the Aradas had kept the Fons captives. And then during that time, there was the slave trade was going on. So that's when the Aradas sold the Fons to the Europeans, and they brought them to Hispaniola. So, but those Fon people also character was warriors. It wasn't because you lost the war that you stopped being a warrior. So they had that warrior mentality, but they didn't only have those two groups of people because there were some Araras that also went to
Yeah, it's the same as the Dahomey. They say
Yes.
that the
Yeah,
Dahomey
they
had
also
a big
know.
hand in the slave trade,
Mhm.
and they don't realize that the Dahomey warriors were prisoners themselves. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So they had the knife up under their throat. Is either
Yes.
you become a warrior or you die.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I mean, it's sad. Yes, of course it's sad, but there's still a glory in it at the same time because now you can find the Dahomey descendants in places like Alabama. One of the last Dahomey descendants is out of Alabama.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you go to places like South Carolina. South Carolina is a certain um, group of families that have one of the oldest African gene coming off the coast of South Carolina, where the Gullah Geechee resides.
Yes, I remember.
You know what I
That
mean?
was what the last scientists found. The man that didn't have like they couldn't find his how old was his gene? Was too old to was it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, they came here under harsh conditions and bad situations, but they reproduce, people like that we can go to North Carolina and speak to now.
Yes, it's a good thing, but
And they can tell us like, yeah, I trace my history back to, like you said, the Fawn or Benin or the homie. And
yes,
this is why we make these weave baskets, and this is why we make these weave mats, because it was brought here and we kept the tradition.
yes, exactly, exactly. We can always trace the tradition based on what they practice of, and they all practice something they similar to voodoo. They call hoodoo also
Yeah,
in
yeah,
those places. And but
exactly.
what's important is like we once we put the European emotionalism into it, you see, because we become instead of
Yeah, that's when it start bickering and fighting. Yeah.
yeah, because we become too emotional about what Africans. So we want to picture Africans as being such a paradise, a place, where these people were living in such an harmoniously, and then the European came and started kidnapping them and brought them to up to. I'm not gonna go into. I'm not gonna have any issue understanding the ugly and the good and the bad,
Hmm.
the ugly and the
Hmm.
and the pretty. You see, you have to embrace all of it. You have to accept them. You see, if you want
Yeah.
to grow, you have to go beyond emotions in order for you to really grasp what's going on. Because
Hmm.
things are always beyond what we think, beyond, and then for you to really go all the way, you cannot be emotional. If you want to go deep and find what's really had occurred, you cannot be emotional about
Yeah, you can't get caught up in the emotion.
it.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you're going to miss certain truths that you need to know.
You
But
will.
because you're caught up in your emotions and you're not cool and calm about it, you're missing
Exactly.
what you're really looking for. And you won't
Exactly.
find, you keep saying, well, I didn't find that. I didn't see that. Yeah, because your emotion was blocking you from seeing
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Exactly. And everything that comes to you in your life, once you become spiritual, everything that comes into your sphere of awareness, there is something for you there. You see,
Hmm.
there is something for you. Don't run, just don't panic. You will find the answer within the self. How is yourself experiencing that, having that experience? How is the self having? Is the self worried? Is the self tense? How is the self? And
Right.
then, but the objective of being is being as God, harmonious
Hmm.
within as it is without. So if that means if whatever you are, in whatever state of being you are, is not a harmonious and peaceful state of being, then that means that whatever came to you is to teach you that look, this can make you not being like God. So are you God or not? So now you have something you're going to use to work in your meditation to become like God. When that thing comes again to you, you're going to be harmonious, you're going to be joyful. That's not going to prevent your happiness or your joy from manifesting. So every time you be more like God, as you see, as you go through life, there will be those challenges that will come to you as testing you. Are you like God or not? Are you like God or not? Okay, I'm going to prevent
Hmm.
that from happening. I'm going to let
Right.
that other thing happen to you. The thing that you might be afraid of, I'm going to let it But that's why you have the ancestor too, you see, to help you, not to get hit too hard sometimes, you see.
Yeah,
Even, yeah, because
you
as
gotta
when
know
you were,
when to pull back.
yeah, because for example, when you were talking about those beings, I'm not a person. I don't take things very lightly. When somebody comes, come to me with some ideas, I don't take things lightly. I had to. I go into deep thoughts, into deep meditation, and it's not even voluntarily. It just happens that that I go into those states, and I got to figure things out, and I'm seeing is because I was to me I was asking why would somebody deviate from a direction that that we are in mental enslavement, but that means that everything that you do had to be for mental liberation. So you have to see whatever you do, you have to see mental liberation within it. Like if you're eating, you have to see mental liberation in it. You're exercising, you have to see mental liberation in exercising. Studying history, everything you do, you have to see mental liberation within it. You see, as for example, when you're eating, you have to eat healthy so you can be healthier, so you can be able to focus better, do things better, you see, to be able to liberate yourself, because if you feel in pain, it's becoming harder for you to be aware of you mentally enslaved. And then I say, well, why would somebody want to go and investigate about Bigfoot or things like that? And then it came to me like maybe unconsciously, because the sister is preparing herself to see things that she would not be able to see, look at, if wasn't prepared.
Well, actually, the Cree, the First Nation, the elders of the Cree tribe in Alberta, Canada, and also the Lakota here in the United States, speaking about it. It ain't just me. I'm repeating what they said, what the Lakota natives are saying from the reservations of what their ancestors told them over the hundreds and thousands of years. And I was listening to one just earlier today, one of the Lakota members, and he was speaking from his elders' point of view on their experience of the Bigfoot and the different species and variations of them and their language that they speak and how they have a sense of humor, how they be laughing. And like I said, the lady was saying it was laughing at her. The man said the same exact thing. The Lakota tribesmen said the same exact thing, how they be laughing. And they have this backwards type of language. Sounds like they're speaking Russian, talking backwards. So, and then, so it's not just me saying it. These are the elders from
Yeah.
thousands of years ago, oral
And
translation, passing it down.
I don't
That's
say that.
having that
Yeah.
had these experiences, not
Yeah.
even just in the Midwest. People from Alabama, Tennessee, the Carolinas, New York, New Jersey, Florida, Texas,
Maybe you will be going those places, but I'm looking
New
at
Mexico.
from a perspective of the interest. Why would you direct your interest to those areas?
I just
And
told you because they exist, because it's real. Something
yes, I
that we've
understand.
been told, something that we've been told that does not exist, and that is just fantasy. It's not fantasy because the Cree elders are not lying. I'd rather believe the Cree elders before I believe somebody that's just going to make a fantasy movie out of it. I'd rather listen to the
I
Lakota elders
understand.
before I listen to somebody that's just trying to make it out of a joke. So
I
I'm looking
understand.
at I'm looking at it from an elderly point of view. I
I
believe
understand.
these elders. I trust their word. They don't have
I,
a reason to lie. These people are not on a
no,
lying scheme. You
no.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I do believe that a lot of things exist. I believe also that there are many beings that will come to you in your dreams and speak to you and they give you a message or something, but they won't come into a shape that will be scary to you. They will come in. They will put a facade that you can identify with, that won't make you fearful of them, so they can transmit that message to you. And
Mm.
sometimes because if we're not going through certain initiation, ritual initiation, those you're not going to be able to receive certain messages from certain beings. Depending on how they come. If they come, if somebody, if it comes like in the shape of a snake to you, you might be too afraid to even, a snake come and talk to you, and then that's Dambala. That's going to, help you in something, That's something like big. That's Dambala is one of the biggest deities that there are in the voodoo. You see, well, it comes in the shape of a big snake, giant snake that could eat you with one bite.
And even in Ghana, they have a forest in Ghana where people know not to go after dark because there's fairies there. But those fairies are not friendly fairies. Those fairies are evil. And they fly with their head turned backwards and their body facing forward. If you talk to any native Ghanaian, they will tell you that. And you ask them to take you ask them to take them, you ask them to take you to that forest, they're going to think you're mad. They're going to say, you crazy? I'm not going to that forest. So now I'm supposed to believe that they're lying too. You know what I'm saying? You talk to the Irishman talk about fairies. You get what I'm trying to say? You go to another part of the world, they got their fairy story. You go to a certain part of China, they got their version of Bigfoot. You go to a certain part of India, they got their version of Bigfoot. You get what I'm trying to say? So
I
everybody not telling the same lie.
Yeah, I don't believe the lying. I don't, I don't, and I believe that everybody has a reason why they have to go. They have to direct their attention to those issues. You see, many people have their reasons, and then as you said, with your conscious reason is because you rather know the truth from the elders, and then from what Hollywood is portraying as what they are, because as they did with black men, they did the black face back in the days, and then if you didn't know more about the black man, you see black face, and then the way they portray the man acting as a servant all the time or as a drug dealer or whatever. That's the only picture you have of the black man. If you never knew some Asian that never
I'll
meet
tell you something. That in 2015, a sister that I know used to live in Colorado. She's in Georgia now, but she's originally from Colorado. She's from the Cheyenne tribe, Montana area. And her family is from the Montana area, but she was born and raised in Colorado. And I went to visit her one time because she's a shaman as well. She does energy healing. She's younger than me, but she's very on point and in tune. Her name is Nikki B. Fly. And I went to visit her. Took an airplane, flew there, and we drove to New Mexico. And she took me to these natives that she know when she was living in New Mexico. And he was an elder to me because he was older than me. So I think he's probably around my mom's age. Maybe he was born like in the 50s or the 40s. And I don't know how we got on the topic of Bigfoot, but he said that he saw Bigfoot and everybody else was laughing. They didn't really believe him. And he looked at me and I said, I believe you. I believe you 100%. In New Mexico, where he lived, he said he have experienced Bigfoot, not on several occasions. So not only am I listening to the Sasquatch Chronicles and hearing other people's experience, I actually got the opportunity to be sitting in a native's home, and he said this to me. You know what I mean? So I didn't mention it back when we talked about it the first time or the second time because I didn't remember that. But while I'm listening to the Lakota and did my little research on the Cree Nation, the First Nation of Cree, I was like, you know what? I remember Nikki took me to that elder house there in the reservation of New Mexico. And he said that to me. Me and him was the only one not laughing and the only one looking serious.
Yes.
You know, they were iffy about it. They thought it was funny. It was a joke. But he looked at me and his eyes was big. And he was like, I saw Bigfoot several times. He's real. And I said, I believe you. Yeah. So that could be another reason why I didn't have a problem. Me and the Oracle didn't have a problem speaking about it because, you know, subliminally, in the back of my mind, you know, I had this conversation with this elder already.
Okay. And I believe that there are many creatures. I do believe that, but it is it depends on like a spiritual person is not somebody to determine what other people should or shouldn't do, because other people ways of being developed and evolving have different direction and different reason, different path why they do what they do. So
Hmm.
and then something that within you have, because I can see you are a very knowledgeable person, very. I'm very impressed about your level of understanding those things, especially when I'm talking about spirituality. You understand way. I say, whoa, she understands. I really respect that. And if you're talking about you have a fascination about Bigfoot like that, and there must be some
The
deep.
elder told me that he saw him several times when he went hunting.
There is some deep inside of you, something deep inside of you that
He
driving
told
you.
me that, and I believed him. I can feel that he was telling the truth because energy don't lie. He could have
No,
been laughing too, but I would have
yeah,
believed him because his
yeah,
energy, it was
I
resonating a truth.
I understand, and that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, well, as I said, we all
And
have
he's
different
and he's
paths.
been Bigfoot's been seen in New Mexico anyway. You know what I mean? So
Uh,
it's not a coincidence that he said that.
and how you think that can be like related to your spiritual development? If that's the
Well,
object.
I already can assume and know that they are multi-dimensional beings. So that's why they can move so quick. That's why one minute you see them, the next minute you don't. That's why they have humor. That's why they have a language. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why they're able to be talked about these hundreds and thousands of years later.
Okay. Okay. All right.
There's
All right.
another elder that was in I think he's from Washington State or Colorado, an older man. I like listening to the elders' story because they
Yeah.
don't have any sense of to just be telling lies. He
Yeah.
even said he feels it in his heart when there's a certain weather pattern that happens. The clouds start moving fast, have this misty type of rain just before it's about to get dark.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's when the portal open and they come through. He knows that
Mm-hmm.
they're not originally from this side.
Okay.
So, if you understand multidimensional, then you can understand Bigfoot and fairies and Smurfs and stuff like that. I'm not
Yes.
talking about what Sophia was talking about earlier with the crossbreeding with humans and animals. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a multidimensional traveling from
Okay.
one part of the galaxy or the universe to ours
Yeah.
through a
Well, we
through a
do that
portal.
too. We do that too. We just have been blacked. We know based on all
Mm.
the things that I've studied about spirituality, we can do all of that. We can do all of that. Our power doesn't have any limit, because that's what the Bible even said, that we are the only being that made to the image of God. That means that
And
we don't have the same potential, but we have the same qualities, because the image of God is not like we have a face or God have a face. Because if God
mhm.
had God have a face, that would mean that God would have been limited to a form, to a shape. Oh, I can see God because I can see the shape.
And the
Being a,
Grand Canyon and mountains are also gateways and portals. That's why they're mostly seen in the deep backwoods forests and mountain ranges, because that's where you can find your portals
okay,
in the canyons, in the mountains, in the forests. If you watch the Smurf movies, how was Gargamel able to get into Smurf Village? Through a portal. He'll follow the Smurfs and there'll be a circle from one side to the other.
yes,
Gargamel's side, which is Earth, and the Smurf side, which is their world.
okay,
And that's how Gargamel was always able to get on the Smurf side in the Smurfs village. He would follow them. So that's the same. It's the same science. They're showing it to you in a fantasy in a cartoon, but in all
yes,
reality, that's basically how it goes.
okay, okay,
Mm.
And that's what the elder was saying. from I think Washington State it was, or Oregon, that he felt in his deep in his heart that they come from another world. And when that weather pattern happened, that's when they're able to transfer from through the portal.
Okay.
He was talking about this particular Bigfoot werewolf type looking, man. But the Lakota elders and the Cree
Lugaú that you
elders,
said before?
huh?
That's the Lugaú that you said before?
No, no, yeah, the Rougarou is in New Orleans. That was
Okay.
that was brought here during the 1500s when the French was coming over into New Orleans. So
Oh,
the
okay.
Rougarou had to come through a portal when the French was coming.
Okay.
If you want to get real metaphysical on it, because the history behind the Rougarou is that it's a French werewolf that came here during the 1500s when the French were
Oh,
migrating from France
okay.
to America.
Okay.
Because New Orleans is like French Creole,
Yes, it is.
and a lot
Yes.
of the people that talks about the Rougarou are French descendants. Their great grandparents migrated here, and they live in those areas, Honey Island, New Orleans, stuff like that, in the swamps and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
But that elder I was talking about, that's from Oregon. I believe it was Oregon or Washington State. He was particularly talking about the werewolf. It's like a werewolf, Bigfoot type of
Being.
being. Yeah, and this was more sinister. It wasn't friendly like.
Yeah. Taller.
Yeah, it was, and he felt like that's when they come through the portal when the weather patterns start changing and stuff. So that's
Okay.
that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, so we've been on here for a long time now. I
Yes.
guess
We've
we
been.
can
Yeah,
save the best for another time.
Yes. Yes. You.
yeah,
Yeah.
because people are waking up now. It's 20 past 5 here on my side.
Oh, so
People
it's
are
morning
preparing
time for
to
you.
go.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to go back to bed. So I should just start going on about my business. Start working.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it was great to be with you again, guys. Even though I was tired, but yeah, we'll have another
We
session next
appreciate
time.
it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate I appreciate the conversation we had today. Today
Yeah.
Yeah.
although Sophia left early, but we did continue the show, and it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed myself a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
thanks a lot.
You're
So
welcome.
next week we're gonna have a meeting again. So
Next week,
yeah,
I think it's Saturday, right?
yeah, Saturday.
Yeah,
So
until
Okay.
Saturday.
yeah, okay, I'll be there.
So
I'll be there.
Saturday is going
All
to
right.
be what, the part 2 of spirituality and religion, or
Yeah.
part 2 of the mythical realities?
We did the part 2 of mythical reality already. Maybe we need a part 3 for mythical
I
reality.
mean, part 3 of mythical realities.
Oh, yeah, but we can mix it up a
Mm.
little if we want to, with a little spirituality,
Uh,
because everything has a spirituality in it.
y-
Everything. You cannot
Yeah,
take a
but the spirituality and religion, that's a different subject,
yeah, that's a totally different topic.
Those things got to be in their right subjects.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see if I'm in a mood that I think I will be in. We might add just a little topic about dream interpretation, and then I will do readings for our viewers. People can just write their dreams there. I will interpret for them. Or those who might come on the show, and then I'll just do a free reading for one or two people live here on the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, if they want to, because some people is kind of private. They might want to have their own little personal reading behind the scenes. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can just have just a small session where I'll just give them a treat. You know, if they want their dreams interpreted, then I can
Mhm.
do that. Yeah, because I'm going to focus on a lot of things in the near future. So this dream interpretation thing, people are going to miss it. I won't be doing it that much in the near future. So yeah, I just want to give them something before I exit.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. So
blessed light, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you.
yes, and
See
give
you.
thanks for all the listeners. Have a peaceful night. Love and gratitude.
Thank you. Have a peaceful night. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.